guys, well, I'm just skinning some coyotes tonight. Thought maybe I'd make a video of it. I already started on this guy, and then figured maybe I would just kind of do a video on put up, from skinning to fleshing to boarding, how I do it. The only thing I started on him is I started my first cut. That's all I started on him. So this is probably a 2-year-old male. He's got a nice white belly. Cut his front legs off already. And did my opening cut here, but I got to do it on this side yet. So I'm probably going to speed the video up, but it'll kind of give you guys an idea of how I do it. Got him on the fleshing beam. I'll see if I can do this. Hopefully you were able to see in the video I removed the cartilage in a different way. This ear pulled quite nice. This ear, if you can see that, ripped. And they do lots, but it isn't going to matter. So what I'll do first is I'll just clean some of this cartilage. It's always against the head. I'll just clean some of that off. That piece almost looks like it came off. So I know some of you guys are gonna give me shit. I never ever flesh the face. I never have fleshed the face, and I I probably never will. It's never made a difference for me. I shouldn't say never. I have fleshed them. A few years ago I used to try and flesh the face from probably the eyes to towards the back. I used to flesh really well. From the eyes forward I never really fleshed all that great, but so I only take off little chunks of meat if they're there. So I'm using a PVC beam that I built, and I use 2 different knives. This knife is, I don't even know who makes it. It is a cheapie. and I probably use it the most because it's the dullest. I've got a Zeph knife, and this is a real good knife. It's a real sharp knife. It works pretty good. I also have a Necker 600, and I use this as well, but the dull side on here is quite a bit sharper than the dull side on this cheapie. But I tend to use this cheap one quite a bit. I guess maybe it's because I'm used to it. So we'll see if we can't get this thing fleshed. Okay, we got them all fleshed out. So now I got them on the board. I centered him on the board to make sure everything's straight, because once he dries, that's going to be kind of it. So then I'm using a split board. All I did here is I pinned, you probably can't see, I pinned the legs in the bottom. So now I'm going to flip them around. And I'm going to pull his side in and pin on the edge of my stretcher. And then I'm going to grab a nail there, and I just spread the stretcher. So I just have the one pin on either side. So now I can kind of see where he's going to be. You can see he's got a little bit of a bite mark right here. I'm not going to sew that up. I'm just going to leave that. So when I pin these, you want to pleat them a little bit. Basically letting the fur condense towards the tail. So you've got a nice full back. And I split the tail in the skinning process. You can see this coyote has primed up a little bit. It's still not there. You can see the black stripe in the back, but you can see priming on the sides for sure. So it's not too bad. I'll try and turn you up here. See if I can do this without getting in the way. So with my ears, I pulled them a different way instead of peeling the cartilage out, like in my one video. So then I just pin the ears forward. And let them dry like this for a day. And you can see I tore that ear a little bit, which is not really a big deal. And that's how I pin the ears open, or forward I guess, and open. It's kind of hard to do this just with one guy here. So I'll show you my legs. You can see here's the elbow. So I'll take a pair of scissors and I'll cut them 1.5 inches or so below. You don't want them too long, but you also don't want them too short. And then in the back legs here, I trim some of this up. You can see when I flesh this, or no, this is not when I fleshed it, but when I cut the pecker out of them, I cut a little bit of a hole. So I'm going to go right above that hole and then trim right down the legs. Be nice and clean and neat. And then I'll show you what I do with the mouth. Let's see if I can do this here. So just find the loose skin down here. Make a cut, and then I run my knife up and I'll cut all that loose skin plus the lips right off it, and it makes it nice and clean and neat. So now that coyote is ready to go. I will leave it I'll leave it sit for, but all depends on the temperature in here. I got it at probably, I got it at 14 degrees Celsius is what it is now. So I'll check on it tomorrow. Stuff like this, I'll spend a little time, and I can't even show you. Stuff like this, I'll spend a little time and I'll scrape that or cut that off. It's just little pieces of the saddle down there. And then we will flip them tomorrow. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in.